Hello, can I help you?
Good afternoon, I'm Detective Madden. I'd like to speak to Harper Matheson.
What's this about?
Excuse me? Hello?
I need her to accompany me to the station.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Well, that's not your choice.
I already answered your questions.
Don't make this harder than it has to be.
Can we all just take a breath?
I'm afraid this is none of your concern.
Actually, you know what? It's in my house. It's my concern. Are you arresting her?
Come with me, now.
No, I don't think so. Either you get a warrant or you get out.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Hi Sophie, how are you going? You been on the old social medias?
Oh no, that's the only thing I've got written down. Such meads. Oh, that made me cringe. That made me cringe. JP.
I've noticed you've not given me a like.
I'm sorry, I've been busy. Oh dear, bless him.
Obviously that's sticking, the old social medias.
Yeah, it's gonna have to, unfortunately. How are you? How was your birthday? Did you enjoy your birthday weekend?
I did, thank you very much.
Good.
Yeah, it was lots of R&R. Yeah.
Nice.
Treated myself to a haircut as well, long overdue.
I know, because I was texting you. You were like, stop it. The both of us.
I'm happy to explain all this. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Very entertaining, but I couldn't keep still, tittering away in the chair. Yeah, so really well. I had a lovely time. Thank you very much for asking.
Good.
How was yours? You had a good week?
Yes, not bad. Nothing exciting, I don't think. But yeah, not bad. Watched a lot of films and watched a lot of crap on TV. So, can't complain.
The old Christmas movies will be on soon as well. That'll be you gone for dust.
Christmas channel is already back on
Is
preview.
it?
Yeah, it's been back since August. It's been back since August.
Oh God. August.
Yeah, it started in August. It used to be like Great Movies or something. I can't remember the name of the channel, or Hallmark channel or whatever. And now it's like the Christmas channel. It's like one of the really like late numbers, like 78 or whatever. I can't remember. Yeah, I've already watched a couple.
That'll be you on this year's hiatus. Wall to wall Hallmark Christmas films.
It is. It's either Hallmark, my sister's murderer, or like Love for Christmas or whatever. I love it. I love a shit film.
Absolutely. Well, I do as well. Now, don't forget, as well as the award show, we also announced the Coastal News podcast live.
Oh yeah,
didn't we?
Yeah.
With Home and Away Murder Mystery. Very excited. And you can get your spot reserved on the link in the episode description, or it'll be all over the social medias as well. Make sure you reserve. Very limited. We're all reserved, aren't we? All in?
Yeah. Guest list, tick.
Absolutely good to go, front of the queue. So yeah, make sure if you listen to this and you fancy it, it's a free event. All you've got to do is get yourself there. It's in March next year. All the details are on the award app, so go and listen to that. Or they're also online as well on at Coastal News Pod on social media. Or just drop us a message if you're confused. We'll happily help, won't we?
Yeah.
Right. Do you want your headlines?
I do.
Rue is back at Northern Districts General, but the atmosphere is frostier than a winter morning in Finland. John's hangover isn't the only painful moment the morning after the night before. Tane has yet another proposal for Felicity. And Irene uncovers Dana hiding in her spare room, but only just before Detective Madden steps up his plan.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts, and ensure you never miss an episode.
Right, as is now always, we'll start with lyric in a minute and get that under our belts, if that's all right with you, Sophie.
Totes fine with me, yeah.
And do you have it's me this week, isn't it? So do you have a stopwatch ready? Can you time me?
I actually don't. I forgot it. Hang on, it's nearby. I go and run and get it. Oh, I'm not prepared today. I've got no brain.
We're out of sorts. Lyric in a minute, and we'll spend 2 minutes preparing. Timing it.
Okay, I have got my stopwatch. Do you want to do a countdown and I'll count you in?
Perfect. So, 3, 1, 2, 3. Eden and Remy are at his parents' country house, agonising over Kirby's social needs while they attempt to write music. I say attempt loosely. Remy confiscates Eden's phone in the end because she's obsessing and tells her she needs to pivot. They've decided to write a love song because that's the only thing they both feel for their significant others. However, they don't get very far. They're not songwriters, let's face it. Think tequila will help. Tequila never helps, guys. Never helps. Eden manages a heartbreak song about Kirby leading. Oh, didums. And if you could, something about if you could walk away, it was never love, blah, 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 blah. Sounded awful. She breaks down because she misses her, doesn't want to finish the song anyway in the end. Meanwhile, Kirby's getting surfboard gifts off Mac back in the bay, but Forrest wants to talk business. He's not happy that she's distracted by things that aren't music. Thinks, her schedule needs to look a bit bigger. Gives her a packed out schedule and takes all control. There we go.
Well done.
All right, all covered in a minute. Let's move on. Now, another big return this week is Rue. She's back. She's had that transfer. She's back in the hospital that we all recognise. And Martha's back to Marimbula, just like that. She's transferred away. She says, I don't need to sit by your bed anymore. I'm off.
Super weird. Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird. And Rue, is she happy about going home? She doesn't look it, does she? Marilyn's hurried over there with cake and making a big fuss, and there's an immediate atmosphere, isn't there? You could cut it with a knife, I thought. And I thought, oh no, I actually felt a bit awkward watching it. I thought, oh god, like you're in the room and you shouldn't be. You're like, I'll just slope out. Marilyn picks up on it, but I think she plows ahead, doesn't she, at this stage? Trying to pretend everything's okay, but it seems to be that every time she talks or tries to help or tries to comfort her, she's just getting shut down, and it's not long before it becomes apparent that Rue doesn't want to speak to Marilyn. Alf even asks her outright, and she's fine with everybody else. So as a viewer, I'm thinking, well, yeah, she blew you up. Indirectly, she blew you up, so she's a bit pissed off about it. Do you know what I mean? But there's a chat between Marilyn and Alf, isn't there? And they think it's because Marilyn never went to see her, and we know Marilyn's carrying all that guilt about it. That self guilt, self blame. And so because they come to that conclusion, she goes back and tries to say to her, doesn't she, I don't blame you for blaming me. I blame me too. And then Rue has this sort of outburst at her that's like, it's all your fault why I'm here. And she's sort of projecting, because she's seen everybody else moving on. Everybody else has got over this bomb. Marley's okay, John's okay. The world's moved on, and she's stuck in this limbo, stuck in bed, and she's angry about it. And I can't blame her, even if it is annoying.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel for her, because obviously anyone in that situation, that's horrible. It's not her fault, it's nobody could have. I know she antagonized Stunning Organics, and so did Marilyn, and so did Kirby, but nobody in their right mind would assume that this is the consequence that would happen from, saying a few things about a company online on social media. It's not, you wouldn't think, oh, we might get blown up. That's not going to happen. So from that respect, I feel sorry for her, and I feel sorry for her that she's the one that's taken the brunt of it. But her attitude still stinks. I'm sorry. It still does stink. Because the way that she's hugging Leah and saying, oh, I missed you, it's nice to see you, in front of Marilyn was cold. And then with Marley, she almost looked pissed off that he was okay. Like, she was like, so there's nothing wrong with you? Like, your ear's like fully better? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, oh. And I was like, what do you want him to say? Yeah, oh no, I'm damaged for life. Oh, that makes me feel better. What? No.
Yeah. And Marley was only trying to say, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It will get better. Look at me, like I'm proof that you can get over this.
Yeah.
Do you know they say, don't they, as well? Half your recovery is your mindset. If you've decided you're going to wallow, your recovery is going to take a lot longer, isn't it? If you think, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get to physio, I'm going to get over this, I'm going to get crack-a-lacking, you're more likely to succeed a lot quicker. I don't know how true it is, but I think mindset does have a long way to go. I don't know. I think I'm toying between, is she looking for sympathy or is she looking for someone to blame? I'm sort of seesawing between the two. Certainly don't sympathise with her.
It's probably both. It's probably a combination of the two. I think you're right when you've just said about, her attitude not helping her recovery. I suppose if she's spending a lot of her energy being angry and not focusing on getting better, it's actually probably going to do her harm than good, isn't it?
Yeah. Although this is a little frustrating for us, it is these actors, man. Emily Simons, Georgie Parker. They are. It's good to have them back, because the scenes, we're supposed to. It's supposed to invoke a reaction from us, right? So great, we're talking about it, but you can't deny the performances here are exceptional, and it's good to see it. I will be honest. There's that moment as well, isn't there, where Rue says her Anna moment. I need a break. I need a break from you.
I don't have time for this. I don't have time for you. I can't do the accent, but yeah, you're right. Just give me a credit card and leave.
She had that moment, didn't she? And she's filled with dread when Bree basically tells her she can go home, and finish off her recovery at home. She's filled with dread of even being anywhere near Marilyn, because of course Marilyn lives at Summer Bay House as well. So I'm very concerned here.
And the beach house is full now.
Rammed full.
So I was
all
thinking,
sorts of reprobates.
a couple of weeks ago, I was like, Marilyn could move into the beach house when Rue comes back, and because I've wanted Marilyn to get away from Mr. Stewart and Rue for a little bit anyway, and just have a break from them. So I was thinking about this a few weeks ago, and then like now, Irene's house is full, isn't it? So I was like, where's she going to go? She's going to have to move in with John. I want to see John's house, so this is a good thing.
Go and rekindle some old flames, some embers over at John's gaff.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. Let's see if it happens. Why should Marilyn have to move anywhere though? Because she's got a cob on.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of want her to move out anyway. Just, I don't think Rue's been, despite this whole explosion accident thing, I don't think Rue's been a very good friend to her for a long time. Way before this, the whole Heather stuff annoyed me. Yeah. And I've wanted Marilyn to get on her own 2 feet, and Rue treats her like a child, has done for ages. And I've always wanted Marilyn to sort of stand up and say, no, I've got my own life, thanks, Rue. Stand on her own 2 feet. As long as she's under Mr. Stewart's house and living with Rue, she's always going to be treated as like the side character that, is your mental health okay? Every time she has, every time she sets a boundary, she sets a boundary, or she says she doesn't like something, or, she starts to act a little bit like Rue does, and they say that she's got mental health problems, and it winds me up. So, you're right. She shouldn't have to move out of her home, but I think it would do the world of good.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, you've said a few times on here in the past, haven't you, about breaking her away from the Stuarts for a bit. It's a shame because I think her and Alf's relationship is quite cherishable.
Yes.
But yeah, I understand completely what you mean. It would be nice to see Maz living with, like you say, someone like Irene, having a bit of fun, living her life for her. You know, I just worry what the immediate next step is here, because we know Marilyn is quite capable of beating herself up. She already is, particularly about this, and then she's now got Rue sort of validating those irrational opinions. You know, I'm a bit worried about where we're going to go immediately next. I'm sure it'll be ironed out eventually because these are grown adults, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, how we get there, I'm a bit worried about. We'll be honest. And obviously Rue as well, you know, as you know, Rue's a contentious character on this podcast. But you know, she has been blown up, and
yes,
you know, and she is frustrated at her recovery. She has come out of it worse off. She's been in a coma, you know, like you can understand to some degree that she's annoyed and frustrated with that.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah, I feel like it's directed negatively. So, you know, when Marley she was like, "Oh, are you okay, Marley?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, I'm good," and she looked like she was fuming. I was like, don't be angry that someone else isn't permanently injured. Be grateful that they haven't got lasting injuries, and he saved your life. You know, if it wasn't for him, why would you wish something permanent on him? I just felt it was a bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Bit odd.
The execution is very Rue, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is, it's out of line. It's out of line at the end of the day. You know, everybody just wants the best for her, don't they?
Yeah.
Right. Tell you who else isn't feeling too good. Johnny's crook as Rookwood the morning after the old team bonding.
I've loved this.
Team bonding cocktail off. We were texting, weren't we? Crying, laughing at this episode. In fact, you know, scoop here. Sophie said it was the best episode she's watched in a long time.
It was. Actually. It was. No, nothing really happened, but it was the best episode. I've not enjoyed an episode like that in a long, long time. And considering Rue was in it for a lot of the episode as well, that's saying something. It was just the way it was shot was just hilarious. You know, you had like John with these sunglasses on, being propped up, you know, on the chairs outside Salt, and almost like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of like thing with his hangover, and then him and Xander sneaking around and talking, and then all the shots of them talking, and then Mac looking down on them from the balcony, and then when they went up to Salt, and she's like, you know, they did like an almost Western kind of cowboy shootout thing, didn't they, between Mac and John, and all of that. Oh, it was so good the way it was edited, and their obviously their acting skills and their partnership and everything else. You can tell they get on really well, and they bounce off each other. I just loved it. Every scene with Mac and John I loved this week.
Yeah, same. And that, like you say, that Western sort of stare off across the bar.
It was so good.
Every time
I went back to John's face, I was just crying laughing.
Yeah, with the fishbowl camera. Yeah.
I loved it.
And then obviously these sort of eyebrows, because Mac's looking at this top shelf, which he was warned not to touch.
Yeah.
You know, none of the top shelf booze, and there's a big gap in it.
She's like, looks like something's missing. I'm like, yes, where the big hole is. They haven't even put anything like a vase. Do you know what I mean? Or a cheaper bottle. They haven't just put something there so that she just walks past it and doesn't notice.
Yeah.
She's going to notice a big gaping hole. Like,
well.
You know what I mean? Like, put something there. Like, put a cheaper bottle of whiskey up there so that she doesn't see. Oh dear.
Well, it doesn't take a long. She cottons on. The very expensive whiskey's missing. How much was it?
$550.
$550. Take a seat.
His face. Oh God. Yeah. He tried to wheedle his way out by putting some reviews on the social medias, didn't he? Look, I've reviewed salt, said how good it is. So can I get a $550 discount? No, John.
Cash or card, lad.
Oh,
Cash or card.
God,
Yeah,
that
very
killed
good.
him.
Very good light relief. But it does seem that his event went well, actually. The
Yes.
reviews are in, so it was worth it in the end, even if it has cost him $500 more than what it should have done. Mark has had news throughout all this hilarious moments, of mopping up all this mess that John and Xander left from the from the night for the team bonding night, and she's had news that Ziggy has made it to the final of this surf competition, which you and I briefly talking about this sort of personally, like she had the baby, they moved away to be with family, and there was a bit of a sort of 3-month storyline of I'm having to give up my life to have this baby, and she had to give up all the surfing, but because she couldn't do them both, and now it turns out in Western Australia you can do anything you want.
You can have
do
it all. Yeah.
You
can be a mum, you can be a pro surfer, you can be a mechanic, you can do it all. Yeah, which is kind of what we said, I think, last year, was like, why has she got to choose between one or the other,
It turns out she never did after all, so we wasted all that energy. All that energy getting upset about that on the pod.
Oh well.
And she needs some help, so Max got to decide to go and visit Dean and Ziggy to help out while she's obviously busy with this comp, and she's a bit reluctant to go, isn't she, as because of Whiskygate. But she realizes Xander proves himself by making John pay, that he is responsible. And I'm just thinking, is this like literally let Flick decide she's partner? Like if Flick wants to punish him, if Flick wants to keep a very close watch, and you'd be telling Flick, wouldn't you? Look, this happened last night.
Yeah.
John owes us this money. Can you reprimand Xander, please? I need to go. But I suppose because Flick's business, head isn't really that. Well, she's physically never there.
No.
She's swanning off abroad and God knows where at the drop of a hat. So, does Mac trust her as a business partner, or is it an oversight? I don't know. I'm a bit like that.
I think we had a little one-liner, didn't we, where Max said to Xander, if I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna go and help Ziggy and Dean, then you need to step up because Flick will need a hand. And I took that as I can't trust her on her own.
Yeah.
I need someone here that I can rely on to keep things ticking over. Even
Says
though
a lot, really.
Flick's the business partner, but you're right. I mean, she just doesn't turn up for work when she's supposed to be there. When she does turn up, she's erratic. Like she can turn up and be like on the cloud 9 and yay, and like looks like she's on crack. And then another day she can come in and she's like shouting at customers. You know what I mean? She's very, very up and down. She's not very reliable.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't be in business with her.
No, not a chance.
I mean, she needed a cash at the time, didn't she? But I mean, it's supposed to be equal. And I'm like,
what's with? Well, we'll get onto it in a minute. But what is her money going to stay in Salt, or is she going to need that money for this venture that she's going off with Tane to do?
It's how you bring it up, like that seemed to be like a very snap decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, very.
He wants to buy, there's a bit of a panic because he says he wants to speak to her and she's running away from him all day, isn't she?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh God, not this old merry-go-round. I'm fed up of the lies here. I mean, last week's podcast, secrets and lies, no more, please.
I know. And she literally lied and said she was going to work. Oh, my phone's ringing. I was like, here we go again.
I know. It's do you see what I mean though? She cannot keep a promise. Do you know what I mean? And Tane's a mug. I've said it for ages, he's a doormat, but he's a mug. He's an absolute mug because he must know that she's lying, but he continues to let it slide. And people like Felicity will just keep going. Do you know what I mean? There's no stopping it, is it? It's part of her. So she actually winds up miles away, gate crashing a songwriting sesh with what is now the whole of lyric. I nearly said half a lyric. Just to escape a conversation, which is nothing to, because she assumes it's about babies. It's nothing to do with that, actually. No. He wants to buy a lake.
He wants to buy a bit of grass in New Zealand and live on a caravan while they build a house. Oh, God.
Did you see the picture? The picture, it was like, so I was thinking this would be like millions and millions, just like a national park.
Do you know what it looked like to me? You know the old Windows backgrounds that you used to have on your computer. And there was one that looked like Teletubby Land with all the green hills.
The meadow or something. Yeah.
It's like that.
Bit of Windows XP.
I was like, are you sure that's not just your background? Have you actually got a website up? Come on.
I was thinking, I mean, this isn't just your average mortgage. I was thinking, I'm looking at a lake and I'm like acres and acres and acres of land here. I'm thinking, it's a national park.
We should go to New Zealand, because imagine what we could get with our money there. We might be able to afford a shed or two. Lord.
Absolutely, yeah. So when she hears this, she's on board. She's quite excited about it. Does ask for time to think, doesn't she? But he sort of does put the pressure on a bit. Things like this don't come up very often. Yada 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 yada. Ultimately, they put an offer in. I'm just thinking, days ago you weren't talking. She was going meeting her rapist, and you were upset about it. I'm thinking, gosh, these two are exhausting in every way, aren't they? Trying to keep up with them.
I was thinking, we've just accused Felicity of keeping secrets and not telling the truth, not lying by omission, by not telling him what's going on. He's been out looking at property and land while he's been away, and he hasn't told her that.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Because he said, I visited a few places while I was in New Zealand. I was like, well, that's kind of important. That's making a decision about both. I mean, the flick one is about her, isn't it? It's about her getting past what's happened to her, and it does involve Tane, but this one is about both of them. And I thought, hang on a second, are we not going to mention the fact that he's gone out and looked at property on their behalf?
That's a good point, actually. It's gone both ways, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if my other half came home and said, I want to buy a lake, I'd be like, you better have an overdraft.
Yeah. And has she ever considered, I know she's never felt like she's got a home, but her home until Tane has been cash, hasn't it? So is she going to consider leaving cash? Because I didn't expect that.
Do you think they're on the move, these two, then? Do you think they're leaving the bay?
Looking at social medias, I'd say no, but I don't know.
We're going to wind everybody up with this social media.
It's JP's fault, not our fault.
Yeah, don't
shoot the messenger.
Social media message. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. This is both ways, isn't it? They're both at it. I mean, you fizzle watch them. This is not. They're not good signs. These, are they? No. They can't talk about the big stuff. How are they going to talk about the small stuff? And obviously John JP got involved in all this, because he's suddenly a property mogul.
I know, with his little house.
And he's obviously butting in and interfering and things, and he plants a seed about a baby. And did you clock Tane's face?
Yeah, he was grinning like a Cheshire cat, wasn't he? Because she said something like, the minute I get pregnant, I will text you. And his face lit up, didn't it? Because he heard the words, the minute I get pregnant, like she's thinking about it being a possibility. But it was just her saying, rack off, John, and mind your own business.
Yeah.
She didn't notice, though, did she? She thinks it's because she shouted at John and he found it funny.
Actually, she said, I'll send you the pregnancy test. And John said, no, just text me.
Yeah, just send us a text. Ew.
Yeah, his face lit up, didn't it? Wide-eyed.
And then she's screaming at Eden, I don't want kids, isn't she? Which we knew. No. We knew this before they got married. We know that she doesn't want kids.
Let's join in. I don't want this storyline.
Neither did Ziggy, though. Let's be honest. Neither did Ziggy when she got pregnant. She didn't want a kid, did she? So.
And now look at her. She's in the final of a surf comp with a kid. There was obviously a very foreshadowing line as well about this whole buying the land thing, because Flick had said, "I didn't know I wanted it until you until you showed me or something."
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's going to be like the baby sitch, isn't it? Oh God, honestly, brace yourself. I'm saying.
I know I wanted them to be happy. Last week I said I just want them to be happy for a bit. This is not what I wanted.
No, same.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Theo's not happy either, is he? Or is he? Don't know. Everyone's worried about it. He's committed to his apprenticeship, but out of duress. Justin and Leah, they're whispering and having talks with him and things. And are you just settling, Theo? And he says, "Get off my back." Blah 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 blah. Justin's managed at the drop of a hat to now be back on board, and he can be the TAFE tutor. Great. Bore Jenny that. There's this big sort of elaborate scene, isn't there, saying, "I don't have a dream. If you don't have a dream, you won't get disappointed." He's mourning the music stardom that never was, isn't he? Do we think this is going to stick? Is this too sort of cut and dry for it to be over now, Lyric? We've got two of them away. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's mainly about Theo, but we've got two of them away songwriting but struggling. Theo's all but written the whole thing off, but he's sad about it. So I think Theo might go back. Is my gut feeling.
Yeah, I mean that's the only logical conclusion. If Eden and Remy want to carry on, they either need to get a new songwriter, because let's face it, neither of them, it's not their forte. They've proved this week, isn't it? Not their forte. So they either need to audition someone else, or they need to convince Theo, because Theo is actually, regretting his decision, or he's just last week I called it acceptance, but maybe it is still denial that this future that he thinks he's planning for, that he says this is the one. Maybe he's just denying what he actually wants. I don't know.
I've got visions of him writing songs about TAFE, daydreaming at work.
Yeah. They should. If they are natural songwriters, any of them, this whole experience should have created some creative juices at some point. All the best songs come from tragedies or traumas or heartbreak, breakups, that kind of thing. This is ideal situation. She's lost a friend, they've lost the band, they've lost the future that they were imagining. That's perfect songwriting material to work from, isn't it?
They're heartbroken.
Exactly.
Get on with it, bloody hell. Or don't, as we all want.
Yes.
But I think Theo's going to mope a bit and then go back, is my gut feeling. I think Justin and Leah can see it as well.
Yeah.
And that's why Leah's tried to stop this whole TAFE thing from kickstarting again.
Which is crazy, isn't it? Because when you think of a normal soap story, like when I say normal, but it's usually the parents or the guardians saying, "Get a bloody job, put the guitar down, get a bloody job, earn some money, earn your keep, put a roof over your head, etc., etc." And he's going, "I want to earn some money and I want to get a career and I want to be able to plan for my future." And they're going, "You sure just don't want to muck around with the guitar for a bit?" It's crazy.
Topsy-turvy, isn't it?
It's mad. Gosh, he's lucky. He doesn't know how lucky he is, really. That they're not screaming at him to pay the rent and the bills are coming in, Theo.
True, very true. I mean, what would his father say? That's all I'll say.
Well, I think he wouldn't say anything. I think he just knocked the living out of him
with his guitar.
Yeah.
Right, Irene's back. This is exciting stuff. She's back. I'm biting my nails because Dana's at her house, and I'm like, oh, and Irene's gone straight to work. Who does that?
And her house is a pigsty. God.
All these dirty dishes down. Yeah.
Seriously.
Now, Cash, he's still investigating, isn't he? He's now saying he's contacting the Anti-Corruption Federation or something or other.
Coppers.
Yeah, trying to get Madden in trouble. And Madden, meanwhile, is obviously working on trying to work out what Cash is up to, and also basically biding his time for Dana to show herself. We were talking last week, weren't we, that the house is obviously being watched. The second she leaves the house, she's done for. Madden knows Cash and Harper have got her. He just can't prove it. And gets a visit actually from Madden, does Cash, doesn't he? And there's this real, honestly, very, very pantomime scene, but I loved it. It was delicious. I hear you've been chasing leads and looking at evidence, bit like me, except I know how to secure it. I was like, great. Oh, this is super soap baddie.
Wouldn't have happened if he'd locked that front door. Just saying.
Nope. Well, that's true. Well, talk about locked doors. Irene's back door's never been shut so much.
I know.
Shut,
and
locked.
All the blinds shut.
Yeah.
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 The front door was used this week, though.
To stake out, it's a stake out this house, isn't it? It's you talk about hunker down and hide.
Yeah.
They're definitely making it obvious.
Yeah.
We know that the only sort of evidence that could get them out and could prove Dana and Harper's alibi is this CCTV from the lunch they were having at the time of the crime. But when Cash got there, it was already gone. So Madden got before him because of that blooming phone call last week that Dana did. Dana is getting right on my wick because she's ruining this her own freedom here. Is that and she's the one bloody causing it all. And he basically threatens Cash and says, the second I know where Dana is, you're going to be in prison, mate. Cash does bite, doesn't he? A bit like you, because Cash is quite confident that this anti-corruption route, the nice good boy way, is going to work.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what's at stake. Cash has explained it quite clearly. We're all going to get done for harbouring a fugitive, but we're all ploughing on anyway. Tread carefully, senior constable. I'm like, oh my god, this is great.
Yeah, these scenes have been really good.
You enjoying Madden?
I am. I've really enjoyed the escalation of the storyline this week. I've really, really enjoyed the YCPD scenes this week. I don't know what it is, but there's been they've shot the scenes differently. So you've got people in the interrogation room looking through the blinds, like through the slats. Then you've got Rose and Cash talking to each other. Then we're behind another thing. So it's like everyone's behind bars as we're looking at them. It's quite funny.
Oh, yeah.
I've really
you're right.
enjoyed
The way it's been shot. Yeah, you're right, actually.
Really loved it. And also it's been so big. That police station has never been so busy.
And do you know what? Having the camera behind things as well and and peering through things helps create that feeling of busyness, and doesn't it? It does help you get into the zone.
You were looking through a window, hearing what Dana and Irene were saying, and then we were still in the room with Rose and Cash. So then we immediately heard what Rose and Cash were saying as well. It was like, it was really good. I really like the way they shot that whole episode. It was really good.
Yeah, agreed. Completely agree. So Irene obviously is back at home. We've got a problem here now. Irene's back at home. Madden's getting a bit riled up. Everything's getting a bit, a bit heightened, shall we say. And doesn't take Irene long because Madden knocks on the door and he wants to speak to Harper. And Irene's saying, over my dead blooming body.
Yeah.
Get a warrant or get out when he's in her house. Line of the week. I've been repeating it everywhere.
Not my first rodeo, mate. Get out. She knows the law. She's been on the wrong side of it a few times.
Next time you're in the bath and your partner wants a poo, get a warrant or get out. I'm going to be using it for everything.
Hilarious. I love it. Yes. Yeah, it's going in
when
the
you're
book.
in the lounge and you're watching Home and Away and someone comes in and they want to talk and you have to puff and pause it.
That's the
get
worst.
Get a warrant or get out.
Yeah, I think people who know me know not to do that.
Yeah, rude.
They'll get a projectile thrown at them. Yeah, get out.
So I thought, we've got Irene on top form here.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she gets rid of Madden, doesn't she? Because Irene's not her first rodeo. She knows what she's doing. She turns around to Harper and she says, "Are you going to tell me who's in your bedroom?" She's not to come down in the last shower as old Robert, says she.
No.
Hello, I'm Irene. All right.
I love that. And who are you? That was the best line. Hello, I'm Irene. I was like, yay! You're back.
Come on, Irene.
We missed her. She wasn't gone that long, but I did miss her while she was
and she's not mentioned this new great grandchild.
No, she's like, yeah, it's all fine. It's all fine.
Even Leah's like, oh yeah, I didn't expect you back so soon. Well, I've heard about Rue being back. Something about your grandchild.
Maybe she's already bored of the baby. They don't do very much when they're first born, do they? They just kind of sleep. So,
to be honest, I'd have left early now. So the jig's up. Harper and Dana have now got to come clean to Irene. Irene's not happy. Nope. You're using my house to hide from the cops. Cash knows about it, and she's like flipping heck. And she speaks to Cash, doesn't she? She summons Cash because she wants to know what's going on. And I think she trusts Cash, obviously, more than these two strangers.
Yeah.
And she sort of basically makes a decision to support them on the basis that Cash has given her, a justification to. He says, you can trust these girls. This is what it is from the top. This is what's happened. And she decides to support them and keep them hidden. However, true to his word, Madden comes back with the warrant. Now, this is what bugged me, right? I got really annoyed at this. Tell me if you did. He's there. He's back with his warrant. He's in Irene's gaff, and he's arresting Harper because obviously he can do. Harper's phone was used, so that's linked her to knowing where Dana is, and I got that. And I thought, right, Dana's hiding in the bedroom. Let him go in and find her, or Dana get out that window. Many a character have been in and out of that bedroom window on that ground floor.
Yeah.
What? But no, she runs out like a plonker, and he's like, "Oh, don't take care." And I'm thinking, are you for real? Like now you've got Irene in right deep doo-doo here.
Yeah, this really wound me up. Why? Like you say, why? They know the score. They know that everyone's in trouble. Cash is in trouble. Harper's in trouble. Irene's in trouble. Just, they're not they can arrest Harper, but they can't detain her. They've got nothing on her.
Yeah.
So they'll have just arrested her, interviewed her, and then let her go.
Yep. Oh. So annoying. So if I was Irene, I'd have decked her with a lamp. Like,
Hey, she goes again. She gets through some lamps.
Like or what everyone's put on the line for her, and she just runs out of the bedroom and hands everybody over basically.
Yeah.
Although they decide not to cuff. Oh no, Dana, cuff her. They decide not to arrest Harper in the end. Like, okay. Maybe we'll come back to that another day. I don't know.
It does feel a bit like I said last week, if I'm going down for it, you're all coming down with me. I feel like she is just sabotaging everybody.
Isn't she just?
Oh, I don't know whether she's just thick or I don't know. I don't know what the word is. Naive. Everyone's calling her dumb Dana on social medias. I don't know what it is. Like she doesn't think before she does something. Like picking the phone up and phoning Ollie. We've got the CCTV. Ha ha ha. Oh God, just take a minute and breathe before you make a decision to do something.
Yeah. It's we were talking last week, weren't we? Juvenile. Like she's naive. She's being silly. Like acting her age. I was questioning, wasn't I? How old is she? She seems to be like. You think, she's managed to be on the run so long. You would think that she'd know what she'd been doing. by now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fast forward, because obviously this creates a whole drama now, because Madden's got Dana. She's gone willingly. He's got Dana. Irene and Harper have rushed down to the cop shop and they've rang Cash along the way. So they're all meeting there. They get there. Madden and Dana are nowhere to be seen, or dodgy surveillance cop that's helping him. Nowhere to be seen. And they're like, they should have been here before us. They left before us. And you're like, oh my God, what has he done with Dana? Turns out they're in a warehouse somewhere. She's chained up. This has all gone a bit.
Yeah, dramatic.
Hasn't it just a bit afternoon movie?
I loved it. Obviously.
So, and he's like, to his sidekick, isn't he, Madden? He's like, I need to go back and sort out my alibi. Don't do anything till I say. Thinking, what the hell's he gonna do?
Well, to me, I was immediately thinking, right, they're going to kill her, but they're going to do it when he can say, I was with 100 cops at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was at the cop shop.
Yeah.
So
how could it be me?
He goes back there and says, we had a flat tire and Dana escaped. Everyone's not buying it, are they?
No.
Cash is having a go. Rose has gone, what's going on here? She's decided to do a shift.
True. Yeah, come back from Sammy Boy's house and yeah.
Sammy Boy.
Sticky, that's your fault.
So this is where all these great police scenes are that we're talking about, isn't it? With all the sort of frantic nature of what's going on down at the police station. The map's out. He's telling them all to search for her. She's on the run. This isn't looking good, is it, for anyone involved? Cash,
no.
Dana, it's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good at all.
No, and back at the warehouse, he's getting a big syringe out. I thought it was going to be a gun.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I was thinking was, before Madden left, he did a little speech to her and she looked really confused. And I went back and listened to it a couple of times and I still didn't really understand what he was saying. But he said, do you recognise this place, Dana? It used to be a hangout of somebody that you used to get drugs from or something, or somebody that used to be... It was something to do with a drug dealer that she knew. And I listened to that line a couple of times and I was like, she doesn't seem to understand what he's saying, and neither do I.
I didn't even hear that. Because I heard her say, I don't take drugs anymore. It's that scene, isn't it?
Yes, it's that. It came straight after that. He said something like, oh, do you recognise this place, Dana? It's where your old drug dealer mate used to hang out. And she said, oh, I don't do drugs anymore. And he goes, well, I believe you. But unfortunately for you, not everybody will. And that's when I thought, this is going to be an overdose or something.
Yeah. They're going to stage it like she's gone there and took something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did expect that bloke just to pull a gun out of that backpack and blow her brains out. But
violent.
Maybe that was wishful thinking.
Oh dear.
Anyway, she can hold her own. She can hold her own. Do you see that chair action?
I was going to say, she can knock out a 6'2" man with a single chair.
And the chair fell apart.
The chair was just like ash at the end. It was like sawdust. It was insane.
It was insane. It was a bit funny though. It was a bit funny.
It was hilarious. I was screaming through that whole thing though, because she managed to get he was trying to untie her hands, wasn't he, so that he could force her to write a suicide note. That's how I'm thinking that was going.
Yeah.
So obviously she's free. So then she manages to kick him, doesn't she, and knock him on the floor, then hit him with the chair, which knocks him cold. And then I was going, tie him up. I was like, because I knew that she was locked in. She was padlocked in because we saw Madden leave, and then the guy padlocked the door, didn't he? So I was like, you can't get out because he's got the keys. So I was screaming, what I would have done was tie him up at that point so he couldn't move. And then you've got time, if he wakes up, to then get the key and everything before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've got your back to him trying to get out, he's going to get up. I was just thinking, you've not watched any films, Dana. Come on. He will get up in a minute. Bad guys don't stay down. They get up.
No,
Oh,
I did like the frantic trying to get a Face ID to work. That was my favourite part of the whole thing.
That was funny because we've had loads of conversations with people online about how do they get into people's phones. So there you go. We saw it. A Face ID.
Even though he's like eyes shut on the floor, face down.
Do you know what? Mine sometimes unlocks, and I'm like, really? From that angle? That's awful. It's like 4 double chins. How do you know it's me? How rude.
It's when it does it in the dark as well, isn't it? You're like,
oh, it's so scary. Yeah, it's proper scary.
You're like, I must look like Yvette Bloody Fielding on most, aren't they? Like, oh.
Is that you, Pendle Witch, bitch?
Open. Okay.
Oh, knocking. I can hear knocking sign.
Pendle Witch.
Oh, dear. Love it. Someone's just thrown a stone at me. Oh, no, it's the key for the padlock.
Quick, escape. Of course. She gets in his phone, doesn't she? Rings Dana, not the cops. Not Dana, Harper, her sister, not the cops. And her sister's like, oh, dilly-dallying.
Actually, that's another thing that annoyed me because his phone was locked and she was trying to unlock it to call her sister. But you can call emergency with the phone locked, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
She could have called, is it 000 in Australia?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
She could have called 000 and said, I'm stuck in a warehouse and, been held hostage. But she didn't. She was faffing around. Another wasting more time when he would have woken up. That also annoyed me, I have to say. Got it off my chest now.
Well done. Yeah, no, you're right. She could have just called the police without needing to get in the phone.
Yes.
Although you could argue, just playing devil's advocate here, you could argue she doesn't trust the police. Given the situation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And Harper's like that's the moment he's woke up and grabbed her. So he's then had to come clean to Madden that the plan's not gone right. She's still here. She's not on the floor, poisoned, staged suicide. And so Madden's had to slope back, hasn't he? And then we have this big sort of showdown, like, you're a moron, you've not done it, and da-da-da-da-da. And he's threatening Dana, isn't he, at the end? Right at the end of the episode, he's threatening Dana, basically. It's going to spill into next week. At YCPD, they've realised he's gone when they go to trace this number, because now they have the number, they can trace where it's come from, which I'm sure they'll do in warp time.
Yeah.
Which would normally take weeks in IRL. But they'll manage it in minutes, I'm sure. And I'm looking forward to Monday. Are you?
I am looking forward to Monday. I do love this kind of stuff. I do live, even though I'm screaming at it and I'm going, you silly girl, tie him up. Why are you bothering getting Face ID? Just ring the police, ring 000. I'm screaming at them, but my heart's in my throat, the whole time. So I'm like, oh, he's going to wake up. And that kind of, that peril, you need that peril, don't you, to kind of get you on the edge of your seat. Yeah. Even because that's why I like horror films, because they're stupid in horror films. The killer comes through like the window or the patio door or something, and they run up the stairs and not out the front door, and you're screaming, why are you going up the stairs? Like, you just trap yourself in the bathroom, like, go out the front door. So it's that kind of thing. You even though it's frustrating, it's enjoyable, isn't it, to watch and shout and of
course it is. Yeah.
That peril, that baddie versus goodie. Are they going to make it? Who's going to get the weapon at the last minute? That kind of thing. You just love it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course you do.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.